All right, MAC 248 production procedures on the 26th, Thursday. What did we learn today? Well, we are into the last phase of the goal, where we're closing the project. All right, we had a project initiation. We had people in this book do all kinds of planning, and then they executed the plan, and they measure and controlled it, and then at the end they close it. And that's what I wanted to lead into today. And how did they end up executing so well? Well, they had a good plan, but the thing that drove them all along was that the measurement determines their behavior. Their old measurements were making them do the wrong things at the wrong time. Unwise things were being forced to by the old accounting system and just a general attitude. When they had the Riot Act read to them and being told that they had 90 days to turn the plan around or they were all going to be out of a job, well, that 90-day measurement determine their behavior from later on. So they start behaving in a different way. They start looking for what the problem possibly could be, so they focus in on the bottlenecks, and they come up with a good plan. In the course of executing their plan, they measured and controlled it back, and now they find themselves wildly successful at the end of the book. The end game starts with around page 297, chapter 33, where each of the different characters in the book kind of says their lessons learned. Now that we're all saved and everybody's being promoted and moving up and moving on, what can we say that we learned? They learned all kinds of very important things. And the last paragraph in that chapter, I think, kind of says it best, and I think it's worthwhile to read it to you. It's right here, the end of 33, the chapter I call Musical Chairs. I think I have that wrong. Anyway, I'll find that later. So each of the characters in the book, Bob discovers that he was able to engineer a sale. The people on the floor engineered a sale. Wow, we didn't have to rely on marketing to do everything for us. Stacy discovers that by maintaining buffers and strict attention on the buffers in front of bottleneck machines and non-bottleneck machines, you can make sure that 3 days in advance you can find holes in the process to fill before they become a problem. So you allow for Murphy's Law with these buffers, and you never get disrupted flow through the plant. Ralph Nakamura decides that he wants to stay so that he can decide on enterprise level software that's going to enable people to run their business with a dashboard that gives them real measurements to tell them how the real situation is and enable them to even make more money, which was the goal all along. Rogo, his lessons learned is, now I've got to learn how to manage. What are the things I need to do in order to manage? Because he's being moved up to be the manager of the entire division. He's taking Bill Peach's job, much to the chagrin of Hilton Smith, who he pretty much vanquished in this game of continuous improvement. All right, I pointed out in this project process thing on the pages where Bob is discussing how they had all these tiresome improvement projects all the time, and people just didn't even want to hear that word anymore, project. So they put it in terms of we're saving our jobs, and nobody thought about it as an improvement project anymore. And at the end, that project was so successful that they're turning it now into a process. And what is the name of the process? It is a continuous improvement process called the theory of constraints. I handed out a handout that comes at those 5 focusing steps a different way. I asked you to look forward in the book and write me a few paragraphs showing your understanding of the 5 focusing steps, and also what happened when they they cut the lot sizes in half. And what today was a very productive day, and we had to kind of crunch 2 classes together, but I'm very happy with how things have gone so far and with the level of reading that the class has done. Please, before the test, make sure that you have read the entire goal and that you have taken good notes and know where to focus on when you go back through the book, what parts to read over and over again, so that you can understand how they applied these steps to different situations all the way through. Because this theory of constraints will lead to an understanding of lean production. It's where this idea of lean all came from. And so I also told you, please remember to buy the next textbook in the bookstore. It's gonna have more about the theory of constraints, and it'll use that as a springboard to talk about Six Sigma, total quality management, and all the other current buzzwords out there in manufacturing. Thank you, and we'll see you Tuesday.